is Diane from Teach Pre-K. It's been a while since I have been able to make a video. Sickness, conferences, accreditation, it's just kind of been one thing after another. So I'm glad that I'm back on track. A few weeks ago, I did a video about teaching math to preschoolers in a developmentally appropriate way. And now that everyone is getting into the science of reading, I thought, okay, I want to do a little bit of research and make sure that I am keeping my kids on track for what comes next, especially my pre-kindergarten kids who are ages 4 to 5. It's really interesting. My vice principal is also a teaching coach, and we had a meeting last week, and she talked about phonemic awareness and our assessments that we just had for conferences and how we were doing, how exactly we go about teaching phonemic awareness and incorporating phonemic awareness into what we're doing. And she said, just remember, phonemic awareness is anything that you cannot see. So it's the rhyming sounds, it's the beginning sounds, it's making silly rhymes, it's alliteration, it's breaking up syllables. We can add pictures and things like that, but to keep in mind that it's not what we see, it's what we hear. So I started thinking about, okay, what do I do on a regular basis to promote phonemic awareness? And most early childhood teachers are doing so much to promote phonemic awareness already. So if you have any question within yourself, if you are, taking the steps needed to get kids ready to be good readers, listen to a bunch of things that I do and figured out that I have been doing. And I think you're going to find a lot of things that you normally do anyway. At the beginning of the year with both classes, we have a 5 senses unit. And during that 5 senses unit, we go on a listening walk. And when we get back, we talk about all the things that we heard. While we're on the walk, we talk about what we're hearing. So we're already priming the kids to start hearing more things and teaching them how important hearing different things really is. So I also bring that into more units during the year. I have these really old CDs, and we play sound guessing games. They were this little box set of like guess the sound, but you could put things in like a jar. I'm thinking Play-Doh canister because you can't see through those, and you probably have a million of those, but you can put things in there and shake it up and see if they can guess what they're hearing. That's another great thing that you can do to kind of start off that paying attention to sound. I'm sure all of you guys, if you haven't, you need to check this out. The Willoughby Wallaby song. The one I love is the one by Raffi. Willoughby Wallaby woo, an elephant sat on you. Willoughby Wallaby wee, an elephant sat on me. And it goes on and it does names, but you're not going to have those names in your class necessarily. So I have a little elephant on a stick, and I bring him around my circle, and I sing Willoughby Wallaby, Wenna, an elephant sat on Jenna. Willoughby Wallaby, Wyan, an elephant sat on Brian, and they just think it's so funny. You can also do the banana fana fofana me my momana Hannah or whatever. Hannah bobana banana fana fofana me my momana Hannah. I do that with the kids, like while they're eating snack, and they just giggle and they love it. But again, they're listening to me making silly words out of their names. And that's kind of the launch pad. But it's something that you can pepper into your day. It doesn't take any time, doesn't really take any planning either. Usually I do these things on the fly, especially like if the kids, oh gosh, 3 to 5 year olds, they might start getting into some potty talk and I'll need a distraction just to get them to stop without telling them to stop over and over, because if I make it too important to me, they want to do it again and again because they want some kind of reaction. So that's a good thing to do. Then when we do our letter of the week each week, and before anyone gets on me for letter of the week, I teach all letters at once. Letter of the week is just giving one like it's spotlight. But all other letters are learned. All other letter sounds are learned. But that's kind of when we focus on those letter sounds. And I have anchor charts with the letter, and inside the letter are things that begin with that letter, uppercase and lowercase. Then the next day I have little cards that have pictures on them, picture cards of things that have that same beginning sound as that letter. And I'll do a guessing game with them, like, oh, this is a round red fruit you eat. You pick it off the tree. It's delicious. It's in the fall. It can be red, green, or yellow. Apple. Yes, because our letter is A. The day after that, I have a little tub full of things that start with that beginning sound. So, yes, I'm talking about the letter, but I'm really, really, really focusing on that sound. One of my other videos, like, I have a problem with the whole syllable thing. I don't know why. It's just never something that I've really latched on and found an activity that I love. So I got a sloth puppet, and my sloth says words really slowly, and the kids love it. And because he's speaking so slowly, I'm breaking those words apart, and they really have to listen to those syllables and all the sounds. So if you're doing things like that, you're already setting perfect foundation for the science of reading. There's lots of beginning sound games that you can play. Like, you can have cards with like cow, cat, and then maybe like a mouse and a fish. And they don't all have to be animals, but have at least two of them have the same beginning sound. And you can say two of these have the k sound. Cat, fish, cow, mouse. Cat, fish, cow, mouse. Which ones have that k sound? Cat and cow. Or you could have like a group of three, cat, cow, and maybe an apple, right? What doesn't have the k beginning sound? Apple, it has an a beginning sound. You're doing two different sounds, the k sound, the a sound, and it's just this little game, what doesn't belong. Another thing is, of course, reading a lot of like rhyming books, and then making up silly rhymes to get them in the habit of hearing rhyme. Then you can move on to playing rhyming games. And you gotta note that some kids, even like your kids that are way ahead on everything, and this happened to me a few years ago. I had one little girl who was just like way up there. She knew all her letters, all her letter sounds. She, could count to 1,000,000. She could, not literally, but she was a very, very bright girl and very, very on it with everything at school. But she could not hear rhyme when she was 4 and 5. In kindergarten, she got it, but she just didn't hear rhyme. And you might come across that. And it's one of those things that when they hear it, they get it. Some get it right off the bat. Some hear it and get it right off the bat, but you're going to run into times where kids just do not hear rhyme. And sometimes it's a developmental thing. It's not necessarily something that you need to be concerned about. I wouldn't worry until like maybe the end of kindergarten, maybe even on into first grade, seriously, because some kids just don't develop that. And I don't know why, but I've had a lot of discussions with kindergarten, first, second grade teachers in my school, and we've all noticed the same thing through the years. There's so many different things you can do, you guys. You could sort pictures, like we sort colors and sort objects, like everything. Like you could have a stack of pictures, and what makes the A sound, B sound, C sound, D sound, whatever sounds you want to focus on that day. Another really fun thing to do, and that I absolutely love, is just alliteration. And that can also lead into like funny tongue twisters. She sells seashells by the seashore and blah, blah, blah. But you can take the kids in your class. Like, let's say I've got this little girl named Maddie. Mighty Maddie mimics mice. Silly Sadie seeks sunshine. It just like make stuff up. And if you as a teacher become just super playful with it and do stuff, like I said, just on the fly, space fillers in your day, or time fillers, I might say, you're going to be giving your kids so much more in phonemic awareness. You don't have to save that just for centers. In fact, sometimes I think it's easier to really get into a lot of phonemic awareness things in circle time, or when you're lined up going somewhere, you could get your you could use like maybe a certain letter or certain letter sound. You can start making rhymes. Like I will always do like my line is just fine. We don't whine. Oh gosh, I don't know, you guys. I'm just making stuff up. But like my line is quiet line. They are quiet all the time. They are silly. They are fine. Blah, blah, blah. And just make rhymes. Just make rhymes the whole way. And I am not a rapper. I'm an older woman. I don't rap. But you might be really good at that, and you can so bring that into your classroom. And maybe you're walking to the library, maybe you're walking to the playground, maybe you're walking back in, maybe you're just trying to find your seat for snack. But anytime you can bring in singing rhymes, reading rhymes, chanting rhymes, or the same thing with alliteration, anything that just brings those sounds alive. One thing that I do at this point of the year, if you watched my name of the day video, which you guys, it is my key to success for circle time and for really getting my kids to learn their letters. I noticed when I did my assessments that the letters that my kids weren't remembering were the letters that we didn't highlight for letters of the week, and letters that weren't in anyone's name. Because we're seeing all the other letters constantly all day, but we didn't see, like this year, we didn't have a lot of J people. So we didn't see J very often. And a lot of my pre-K kids missed J. And I thought, why is that? Like, they're so good. They know all their letters. Why? And I'm like, nobody has a J in their name this year. And we do name of the day every day, and they see all these letters, all the letters in everyone's names constantly. And anyway, so then I take like, oh, they didn't get this. This is something I need to focus on. And I start focusing on that. But with my name of the day, it's a good way for learning letters, what letters look like. But I start at this point of the year, so I'm almost to the last quarter of the year. doing 3-letter CVC words that we sound out, because at this point of the year, we only have 5 more letters that we haven't highlighted from our letter of the week. And so we know most of our letter sounds really well anyway, just from doing letter sound games, even the letters we haven't highlighted. So I have my pre-K class, not my little guys, not my little 3s, but my 4, 5s right before kindergarten. We start sounding out and blending, I use dot, cat, mat, sat, tip, pit, like things like that, pot. But we sound those letters out individually and start blending. You guys, when I turn my board around for the person whose name it is to come and put their letters in the right order, but I have those 3 extra letters that make a CVC word. The kids who know that that's coming start sounding that CVC word out on their own, and they can tell me what that word is before we start doing it as a class. I'm starting to tell them to shh, because I want everyone to sound it out together. But so as far as I know, and what I have seen year after year after year, that method is working. What I've been doing is working, and it's easy to implement, doesn't take any time. I am hoping, my spring break is in a couple of weeks. I'm actually going to take care of my niece's baby for a few days, but I also want to have a series of phonemic awareness games on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I might offer a freebie just to kind of introduce them. But I have a lot of really, really good ideas because my school goes up to 8th grade. So I have to really concern myself at this point of the year with, okay, are they going to be ready to walk through that door the first day of kindergarten? And no, I don't expect them to read. I don't expect them to remember every letter and every letter sound, because there's going to be that 2.5 months of no school. But am I laying a good enough foundation that kindergarten teacher who is just steeped in that science of reading can just take off with my kids? And the answer is absolutely yes. Are there a few kids that might need help? Totally. But there is every year. And our teachers are really fantastic. And I feel like most teachers I've encountered are really fantastic on figuring that out within the first week or 2 and getting that extra help going and doing a lot of review to bring everyone up to speed, because you guys, teachers are amazing. They really, really are. We get a bad rap sometimes, but I know that everyone I work with has the best interest of kids at heart, and our administration has the best interest of the kids at heart, and we all work together just to make it a good environment for the kids. You know, everybody falls short sometimes, but I know at least in early childhood, we're doing our best and we're not falling short. So I hope that helps. I think where I'd like to go with this as I start to build the tools that I want to use for the end of this year and going forward, I kind of might do a video about, maybe first quarter, start with this, move into this, move into this, move into this. I mean, you should always be preparing your kids for what comes next. Of course, always in a playful way, because that's the way kids learn the best. But thank you so much for listening. And I hope this makes you feel confident that what you're already doing is good enough. And yeah, we can all up our game and you can add a few other things in. But as early childhood educators, we are really, really good at setting that foundation. And I believe with all my heart that you guys probably already are. But if you're not, I hope I gave you some great ideas. Or if you just needed just a few things to refresh what you already do, I hope it was helpful. But thank you so much for tuning in, and sorry I haven't been here a while. I'll do better.